towards the end. Just a crazy race over the weekend, Brandon. What did you think about the Russian Grand Prix?
I mean, it was exciting, honestly. I think it was an exciting Grand Prix to watch if you were a fan, and I think it's undeniable that it was exciting no matter who you were rooting for, just because the action changed drastically from the start to the finish. Even the start was just amazing, obviously, with, you know, Lewis Hamilton getting a little bit of wheel spin, didn't get off the line great. Daniel Ricciardo had an amazing start, and then there was Sainz and Norris battling down into turn one, where Sainz won out and was leading the race for a little while. But then Lando Norris came on, has been showing amazing form lately, and took the lead of the race and really did not look back, was just absolutely tearing that race up. And then, you know, Lewis Hamilton did a great job of battling himself back into position, and just like a champion would, putting himself in position for when an opponent would make a mistake so you could capitalize. The rain came out. McLaren made the strategy call, you know, keep Lando Norris out. And I believe Lando Norris even said himself that he made the final call not to listen to the engineer and say, I'm going to stay out here. And so he made that call. The rain started falling really hard, and he just could not keep it on the track, where Mercedes made the decision to say, hey, the rain is getting worse here, Lewis. It's going to get worse. We've got to come in and put the set of inners on. Lewis said, okay, did it on that next lap. And then where I really knew Lando Norris was going to be in trouble was Lewis Hamilton's engineer, Bono, came on to Lewis and said, Lando stayed out. He is going to struggle. And that's when I knew it immediately there. These engineers will call it. They know, they've got all that information on the pit wall there. They've got the radar. He knew where the rain was falling. And sure enough, it just Lando Norris couldn't keep that car on the track. And I mean, if you go back, there was another battle between Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, and I forgot who the third car was later on in that race as well, where they stayed on slicks, and they were all struggling to keep it on this track and also battled each other. So it was an amazing battle, and it was also like a survival mode to see if you could even get back into the pits and put some inters on. But, you know, Mercedes made the right strategy call yet again, brought Lewis in, and then Lewis Hamilton just had an absolute masterclass of a drive. Like I said, as a champion, putting himself in that position. And then when Lando Norris made the mistake, he was right there to pounce, didn't look back, went on to win the Russian Grand Prix, his 100th race win of all time, which we're going to cover that next. But that's an amazing feat in itself. And it also gives him a 2-point lead now in the battle with Max Verstappen, and this back and forth battle that we consistently see will go to the end. But this Russian Grand Prix was exciting from start to finish, and it was just amazing to see Lewis Hamilton get the win.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I think right around lap 46 or 47 is when the rain started to come. And then it was lap 49 when Mercedes decided to bring Hamilton in. And that's when Lando Norris, you're right, on the comms, he was like, no, I'm not coming in. They asked him in the box. He said no, and kept going. And then you see him slide at lap 51. So, and that's where Hamilton was able to take over. And that's just the beauty of F1 too, watching that strategic planning between the driver and the team. Sometimes they're right in sync, sometimes over the comms to see exactly, you know what they want to do and what the strategy is going to be. Sometimes the driver knows a little bit better because he can physically feel the car and how it's driving. Or sometimes, like you said, those engineers, especially with weather, I mean, you got to listen to the engineers because they're looking at everything. And but that's just one of the most exciting parts of the race. Also, I mean, I think you can probably expand upon this more, but we were debating last week if Verstappen should take that engine penalty, and, seeing him finish second, it's probably absolutely the right move. I mean, that's the fact that you were able to take that penalty and also, still finish second means you didn't lose a ton of points in the race between Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. And now that engine penalty's gone, and now you can just focus on the rest of the races the rest of the way. So I think it was absolutely the right move by Red Bull to take that engine penalty in this particular Grand Prix. And I'm sure you agree, Brennan. And that was a huge play for them too, which just makes this fight to the top races, which we've been talking about all summer long. And now in the fall, it's going to be an unbelievable fight to the finish, and a brilliant move by, a very, very much the right call by Red Bull to get Verstappen that engine penalty and get into second place. And like you said, Hamilton's only up by 2 points now. It could have been even worse if Verstappen's worse with that engine penalty.
I think that's the key there. And, we had discussed it before that I was saying I think Verstappen really got lucky, and not lucky with that he finished second. He earned that. He had a master class of a drive himself to be able to start, 20th overall and get on the podium and finish second. You have got to give him credit for racing himself back up there. No matter how much horsepower he has in his car, he made all the right decisions and made all the right moves at the Sochi Grand Prix to earn that podium. But I just said it was lucky that he finished second, because I was honestly estimating him, and even his own team were estimating him to finish fourth or fifth. And so for him to just surpass their own expectations and earn the podium was huge. And it cut into Lewis Hamilton's championship lead, because it was going to be bigger if he finished fourth or fifth. Instead, with him finishing second, that cut the gap, and now it's only a 2-point lead. So I think it was definitely strategically the right call for Red Bull to take that engine penalty, and Max Verstappen did his job of outdriving the penalty and outdriving the engine penalty per se, both penalties, the grid penalty and the engine penalty, and getting himself back on the podium. But just quickly, Christian Horner said this week that he enjoys firing up Toto Wolff, and that when he says a comment and Toto Wolff has a great reaction, that he thinks it's entertaining and is having fun with it. So honestly, that made me just like Christian Horner that much more, because it's like, it's entertainment in the end, right? And they are two big entertainers in F1, even though they aren't drivers. As the team principals, they're still huge in it. So seeing Toto and Christian Horner go at it back and forth with these comments is absolutely amazing and entertainment at its best. But obviously their two best drivers of Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are going to battle it out until the end, with Lewis Hamilton winning the Russian Grand Prix here and getting the edge right now in the driver's title. But we will definitely see that battle continue on, just like we are going to continue on tonight. We're going to roll on to talk